Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lattes on My Mind. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Felina.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about Doomsday and its influence in our pop culture.
Ooh.
So grab your lattes and join us for the journey. How have you been, Hannah?
I have been great. I mean, I got another dog.
You got another dog.
She's on a trial. She's not on a trial basis. I mean, we have decided, she's staying within the area, whatever that means. And we want it to work. They're doing really great.
Good.
Keanu
They
and
played together for the first time.
Yeah, they did. And they still have their moments with like the bones and things. Like they'll kind of,
that's going to happen.
yeah, they'll kind of growl. And sometimes they'll start playing and then it turns into kind of Keanu getting mad. And I'm like, but I think they're just still, it's only been a week today.
A week, exactly.
Yeah, today. So she's a super sweetheart. And so we were just chatting.
She likes to pose for pictures.
Yes.
And she likes cuddles.
She does. And she likes crawling under the bed. It's so funny. I have to show you this picture of her. I know this is the podcast, but
pause for the picture.
She literally will crawl under the bed. Like when we're all in it.
That's so cute. She also likes to go under the table too.
She does.
You put her blankets under the table.
Maybe
and everything.
she's preparing for Doomsday.
Oh, that's adorable.
She just gets under there. She likes it, and she'll like sleep too. Like I didn't know she was under there, so I did this video, and because I couldn't see her, and like I was like, where is she? And then she's like,
there she
boop.
is. She's like, oh, you found me.
So yeah, she's a sweetheart. We're just making sure that they're both happy. Everyone's good. So
right.
That's been my week. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week for you.
It's been a long week, but a good week.
But so much progress has been made in that week.
I know. She's so cute. She really is.
Yeah.
I need you to meet her.
I need to meet her.
I mean, you're welcome at any time.
Okay. Well,
everyone pause.
I know where I'm going after this.
Right. Everyone pause the podcast. We're going to go meet Sky. Sky is her name.
Miss Sky girl.
She's needy. She is needy.
Is she a Velcro dog?
Yeah. She won't follow you everywhere because she'll let like Keanu go do his own thing. Like they'll go in separate rooms and be there for a while. But if you start petting her,
she won't let you stop.
She's a goner. Yeah. She's like, she'll sit there and stare at you and then she'll like paw you and she'll grab your paw and she'll bring
you guys. She sent me a video of Wes in Sky, and Wes had just gotten home and he was doing homework. Yeah. He was trying to do homework.
Yeah.
And she put her paw on his arm and was like pulling him
literally
back towards her to pet her.
She's strong.
Yeah.
Like she's got like kind of thin legs, but like
they're beefy. Muscular.
She's like, wow.
She's like, I said, pet me.
Right. She will not let you go. It's funny. She's got a lot of personality. She's a sweetheart. We're hoping it all goes well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I got a dog. What'd you do?
I watched Fallout.
So you were prepping.
I was prepping. No,
all week?
It might be.
You watched it all week?
No.
Okay, give me a premise because I haven't actually seen it yet.
So Fallout started as a video game.
Right. I knew that.
I've not played the video game.
Me either.
And then they made a series on it, and I found out it got renewed for a second season.
Oh,
so whoop, whoop.
How long is the first season? Is it like?
It's
7, 8 or whatever they make now.
6, 8, 9, something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's 9 episodes.
We've been watching Supernatural.
No,
and some of them
I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes.
Yeah, that's typical. We've been watching Supernatural, and there's like 22 episodes in some of those seasons.
Well, but the episodes are longer these days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're about 45 minutes for Supernatural.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty good. Like there's just a lot. It's just.
But Supernatural was on TV.
That's true.
It's not a TV show.
Yeah.
It's just like a series that is
on
streaming.
Netflix? Where is it? What's it on?
If you didn't ask me that, I could have told you.
I think it's like on, because I've seen things for it. I have not watched it, but I think you're right, because even I've been watching Rings of Power, and they're like an hour-long episode, and there's like 8. So it's like an 8-hour movie, really. It's
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime too.
I knew it wasn't Netflix, because I was like, no, it's not Netflix. It's too mainstream, I guess. You know.
Okay, so.
But it's basically, the atomic bombs happen. America gets bombed. Mm-hmm. There's people in a fallout shelter.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you why, but by certain means they come up and they're expecting to like repopulate the earth.
Okay.
They're expecting to be the ones to repopulate the earth.
So it's like after all the destruction and the
it's like 200 years after.
Oh, 200 years after.
Yeah.
And they survived that long?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like one of the main characters was born in the fallout shelter. Yeah, it's like a community, and it's like this shelter is connected to this shelter. It's like a tree. It's like 31, 32, and 33 for the show.
See, there's a way to stop that. I was reading that when you're doomsday prepping to bring birth control, because people don't think about having babies.
Well,
in the shelters.
they wanted to have babies in the
they
shelters.
Did. Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
I have to watch it.
Because they were supposed to repopulate the earth.
Oh, that's true.
So they needed to keep the generations going to then be able to go up and repopulate.
I guess if you've reached a point where you can repopulate it, it would be, you start having kids. But like if you're in the middle of it and like zombies are coming out of places, like you don't.
Well, there's not zombies.
Okay, not zombies.
There's the ghoul, as we've discussed before.
I know of him.
Those are people like with radiation. Poisoning.
Okay, so it's not like it's a different kind of.
Yeah.
I was reading about that, the different like apocalyptic types of. Oh, sorry. I've been reading about like the different types of apocalyptic events. So this is more like a nuclear one. It's not like
nuclear war.
Not like Last of Us sort of.
No, zombie. Not zombies. No. But yeah, that's basically. And then she finds people, and is like. I'm trying not to give stuff away because I know Wes wants to watch it.
Oh, he's not going to listen to this.
I know, but you're going to listen and you're going to know and you're going to tell him on accident. True. But there's people and their life is kind of a little bit of a lie. So
that's always exciting.
Yeah.
All right. I need to watch it.
You do. You should. It's really good.
All right.
But so, yeah, I watched Fallout and I was like, man, there's been a lot of like post-apocalyptic shows, video games, books, all of that.
I feel like it really like had like a surge in the early, like, I don't know, 2000s.
Our generation. Yeah. Like grew up on it, and we'll talk more about it. But some of the ones that came to my mind just thinking about it was Fallout, Last of Us, Hunger Games, A Quiet Place, and A Quiet Place Part 2.
I didn't think of A Quiet Place.
Yeah, because like the aliens.
Yeah.
Divergent, Leave the World Behind, which is on Netflix.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's pretty good. We watched it on Netflix. Okay. It's pretty good. The Day After Tomorrow, 2012. Book of Eli, Walking Dead, Mad Max, like those are like just the top ones that like came to my mind. Like it, and you can keep going.
Yeah, you can keep going.
That's, and like I looked up the video games, but I wasn't I'm not super familiar with all the video games. I play Fortnite. Okay,
it's Fortnite. That's it. I've heard that The Last of Us is really good. Like a really good game.
Yeah.
But it's also a really good show.
It's a really good show. Pascal. But Marshall said he liked the game too. And I will say I played Call of Duty and we played Halo and like what's that one? Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Assassin's Creed.
We played that when we were younger too. But like
I was playing like Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros.
Well, yeah, that too.
But like, yeah, I didn't get into these types of games until I don't know if I played any sort of. I've seen like parts of it, but I haven't like played any apocalyptic really games. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't played The Last of Us. But it's good.
I mean,
I've watched the show.
It influences.
Yeah.
There's an influence.
Heavily.
Yeah. So, getting into it. Hannah.
Yes.
We're just going to segue. It's not the smoothest segue, but we're just going to segue.
That's okay. We'll just get on our segues and go.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a segue.
Yeah.
Like the actual segue, you know?
Yeah. Like just
I swear I've read one before. It's like a distant memory and I don't know how. I think it was like at a museum and there was a guy and he let me try it, but I don't think this is real. I don't know if it was a dream.
Did you have a dream?
It was so vivid. I was with my family. Maybe I should ask my family. Be like, did I write a segue?
I
don't know. Anyway, segue, not the smoothest segue, but here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so I was researching it and I was curious to see like when the shelter aspect of it, like the bomb shelters and stuff. kind of started. And from what I could find, in November of 1962 was when they started building the first like underground shelter.
That's a while ago.
Yeah. Well, it's like a month after the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, that
So
makes sense.
that tracks. And did you know that Congress voted to spend $169 million on shelters in 1961?
Really?
Yeah.
Before the missile.
Before the missile. Like, it was such a big deal that, like, families would have bomb drills.
So they knew that something was
They knew
afoot.
that they... Well, because they knew that they had bombs.
Well, I mean, that's the scary thing is, like, we still have this capability, but it's just, like, everyone has it. So it's like...
Yeah.
What
Well,
do you
everyone
do?
didn't have it at that point.
Exactly. So...
But they knew, like... They knew that they had bombs
possibility.
in Cuba.
Cuba, yeah.
So it was just like, well, that's close.
Let's
They
prepare.
can get us. We need
That
to
is
make sure
true.
that like we're prepared for it. From what I think I read something too about the November 1962 shelter
Okay.
being the only one that actually got built during that time period.
So they had all these plans and, like, all this money set aside, but they
But they only did the one.
got one done. Okay.
I mean, obviously they built more over time, but like during that period, that was the only one that actually like saw.
Was it, like, really big? Was it, like, meant to keep lots of people, or was it, like, a small...
It was from what I understand, it's big because
Okay.
it's meant for like refugee
Right,
center for
okay.
Americans.
Oh, okay.
So
Whoever can make it.
whoever can get there in time, come
Survival
on.
of the fittest.
Yeah,
going,
literally.
literally. Oh, my gosh.
Then again, of course, you have like those conspiracy theories of like, no, it was like you know how the people with, is it the red roofs,
The red roofs?
blue roofs,
Blue
green roofs?
Green roofs?
One of the roofs. It's like all the people, like all the rich people, and
Oh.
famous people, and influential people. They have a certain color roof.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this.
So that they don't get like attacked. You haven't heard about that?
No. I must be living in a shelter.
Maybe, but it's like,
Well, what's stopping someone from still bombing them?
because they have money.
Okay.
So they've paid to have the roof this color and
Oh.
is kind of the conspiracy. So, but it's like, you know,
heard
people
of
being
this.
like, so it's just like the high end, higher up families.
So they're safe.
Yeah.
The rich people are safe because that will help
Basically.
when we all go down.
Right.
Money will mean something.
Right. Absolutely.
You
Well,
know.
it'll buy their way in.
Yeah.
So, I
But
mean,
money won't be worth, like, if the apocalypse happens and everyone's just surviving, like, money's not going to do anything eventually. Because it's not going to be worth anything.
No, but the rich can still like
But yeah.
buy their way into shelters.
That's
and
true. That's true.
camps and whatnot. All right, so getting into some of the beliefs that are going to cause the end of the world,
Ooh.
and some of like the shows and video
Right.
games. Obviously, there's economic collapse, which we saw in Y2K. We saw about the guy who like came out of the bunker, like who had been in there since '99 and like went under a bunker because he thought the world was going to collapse, like economically.
It's crazy to think that happened in my lifetime.
I know.
Like, I don't remember. I feel like I remember, like, some sort of, like, panic going on, but I was, like, I was, like, 6 when 2000 rolled around.
I was a newborn,
One, yeah.
a bebe, not yet one,
Near baby.
an infant, if you would.
Right, so
fresh out the womb.
No recall.
Yeah. But then there's also societal collapse,
Okay.
an electromagnetic pulse,
Ooh.
which is kind of like, I feel like that's kind of a quiet place. Like, yes, it's aliens, but
Yeah, true. Is that, like, where it takes out, like, all the power?
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. Like, how many people do you think would survive without
Power.
or
Oh my gosh, the
technology?
AT&T outage.
That was bad enough.
I was on my way to the doctor that day. Remember, I was going to
that's
get
right. And we
checked
were
for
like-
yeah. And I was on my way to the doctor, and I literally had to go to my brother's house and hope that he was home so that I could find Wi-Fi so that I could like call like
Yeah.
another doctor, because the place where I went, they ended up being like, oh, we're like fully booked. We're not taking
Right.
walk-ins right now. Try this place. And I was like, where is that place? And so like I had to go to his place hoping that he
Right.
was home. And he wasn't answering the door because he was still asleep. So I was literally using the Wi-Fi from their front door because I couldn't.
Yeah. Do you know how, like, I wouldn't be able to find anything.
Yeah.
I know where a few places are, but can you imagine if you were like walking?
You especially would not be able to find anything.
I wouldn't.
Because you are not from here.
That's true.
There's certain areas where I'm more familiar with.
Same. I'm like, okay, I kind of know this. I'd be gone.
I think I would go to my hometown,
Right.
which is just down the road.
Probably the smartest thing to do.
Because I know that place.
That's true.
Like the back of my hand.
There's more places to hide too.
There are. There's literal caves.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not going in no cave anymore.
Well, they're not in a national park, Hannah.
Those
Also,
cannibals.
did you guys hear about the body that they found in like the national parks?
And then it's unidentified.
Mm-hmm.
So
like
that
they
happened.
have nothing to identify them based off of.
When did it happen? Recently.
Recently found.
Like after we did the podcast about them.
After we
state
did
parks?
the podcast about the cave systems. Yeah.
Maybe it got out there and.
I know. I don't know. There's also, this is really sad. I think I told you about it. The influencer who fell into a volcano.
Yeah. What's happening?
That is so sad.
That is terrifying. What a horrible way to go.
Well, I can only hope that she passed out during the fall.
I really hope. Yeah, that's terrifying.
That's also why there are guardrails. So maybe don't climb over those. No.
Let this be.
Even for the picture, don't climb over the guardrails.
That's terrifying.
I know. Anyways, sorry. That was a little tangent there.
This guy.
I think also electromagnetic pulse, there was a series called Revolution. Yeah. And it was an electromagnetic pulse that took everything out.
I think that one's like kind of probable. Like that could happen.
That one,
like
well, that's what people are saying. Like the AT&T outage was because it wasn't just AT&T, but it was majority AT&T. Yeah. But the outage was, and like China was trying to like do a cyber attack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There went all my information. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
They're gonna know anyway.
They know it already.
I have a podcast. They're gonna get all my information from this podcast.
What are they gonna get? My $2,000?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good luck with that. But then there's also zombies. I left this one off the list, but aliens as well.
Right.
Kinda aliens is a big one. Yeah. Nuclear war, which
talked about.
Cuban Missile Crisis. Viruses. Hello, COVID.
Just think about that.
Literally.
I know. I was asking Wes. I was like, "Do you think that like Doomsday preppers? Do you think like
they went underground?
COVID increased that?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, 100%."
Oh, 100.
And even in the articles I was reading, it was like we kind of like experienced the beginnings of like a mass hysteria with people and all the toilet paper. And
nobody knew it was gonna happen.
Right. It was so. And we joked about it. I remember being like, "That's not gonna come over here," and then like the next thing you knew, it was over here.
Well, it happened, and then they started locking down like countries.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who was in England at the time. She was chaperoning a trip in England.
Can you imagine?
And I was watching her fish. Now, a fish is not a big responsibility. I am aware of that.
But it's not your fish.
But it's not my fish, and I have never taken care of a fish before.
Right.
And it had fin rot.
It had what?
Fin rot.
So it was sick, and it like did it start? What does that look like?
Well, you have to put medicine in it.
In the fish?
In the water, you had to like put it on their like fin. Yeah.
Did she know she had it before it came over here?
Like before she gave it to me.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was healing.
Right.
It was healing, but then it started getting a little worse, so I started.
But that's nerve-wracking.
It's so nerve-wracking.
You're like, because fish are fragile. Like they go.
And
you'd
I
still
did not.
feel bad.
I would feel awful. She wouldn't. She would have understood.
Right.
Because it was like my best friend. So she was like, "Can you watch them? Like, can I leave them here over like the break? You know, because they extended our spring break is what happened." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And so I was like, "You're gonna get locked down in there." We were joking about it, and then I went out into the living room, and they were watching like
people getting locked down.
They were like giving like a list of countries that were on lockdown and weren't allowed to leave. And then like England came up, and I was like, "Girl, you're locked down. You're stuck there."
I was scared enough
you're stuck.
I was looking for an apartment here. In Kentucky when COVID was happening. So I was scared I was going to get like trapped in the state. Like when I was leaving from visiting here, the Starbucks around here, like I went to go get a coffee. They were like putting up their chairs and stuff like as I was leaving. So it was like, it was about to happen. And I was like, what if I get stuck in Kentucky? Cause like I hadn't moved here yet.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't know. Cause everyone was acting like they're even going to close the borders of the states. And I was like, what's going to happen? Like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Cause they were saying all these emergencies. So like we just
State
felt
of emergency,
like the tiniest little beginning of something like that.
We did. Well, yeah. And it was like, I was like, I got stuck with the fish. And we ended up, someone gave us a card. I think it was someone's birthday or something. And it had like a lake on it. So I put that there. I was like, there you go. You're right at home. And she was like, he's not a lake fish, but that's okay.
Man, she's really.
She thought it was funny. And I was like, sorry. But.
Okay.
You know.
My gosh.
Yeah. I kept him alive.
I'm so proud of you.
For a while.
And made it back to her.
Made it back to her.
All right, guys. The fish lived.
The fish lived. And then another cause is the rapture.
Oh.
As we see in the Bible.
Those Left Behind series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That used to be like, because I grew up religiously, like that was like one of the most terrifying things to me. I would have like nightmares and stuff.
The rapture.
Yeah.
Well, were you ever not able to find, like, you woke up from a nap and your family was
I
gone?
couldn't find my family.
You couldn't find anybody, and you're like, I missed the rapture.
I thought I was going to, but yes. So many times I've had that fear because they're always like, 2 of you will be walking in a field and 1 will be taken, and it's like, that's so freaky.
They've said that to you?
Well, like no. I mean, that's just a Bible verse.
Oh.
It's just like there'll be, but you hear that like 2 will be walking in the field and 1 will be taken and the other will be left.
Yeah.
No, they weren't like saying
Makes
that.
you wonder
us.
what happens to, like, do the clothes come off?
I don't know. There was different like interpretations of that.
Or they just poof, they disappear.
Right.
You're like, whoa,
Right.
what? Where are you at, bud?
I think in Left Behind, don't they? Isn't it always like their clothes are left behind
Yeah,
too?
I think
Just
so.
like snatched naked out of their beds. Like
yeah,
that's that one's that's scary.
it's wild.
It's scary thinking of like all your family being taken and you're like the only one left.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
Especially when you're younger too.
Oh, I know. That's
You're
what
like,
I'm
I'm just 7. I'm only 7.
I mean, I was scared like, oh, you would take like the mark of the beast on accident or something. You know what I mean? And then you're like doomed for hell.
Yeah.
Like, stuff
That's
is
not good.
scary.
Anyways, okay. All of this, I was like, why? Why do people feel the need to
Right.
prep?
This impending doom.
Yeah. Why is it so prevalent in our culture? Like, there's so many movies and stuff. And as we know from school, movies are a way to escape from a reality.
I mean, that's why they're also very influential. As much as people don't want to say that they are. Like, that's why I became a film major, because it's a good way to communicate, you know, your beliefs or whatever, or your like a concept to people, because people get into it.
It is.
They don't realize how much it influences them. I mean, like you're saying, this is the whole point of this. Like, why is it so prevalent?
Why is it so prevalent?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so why people prep?
Okay,
we're going to start with that, because I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit.
No, I know.
So
I'm sorry. I kind of got excited.
Desire for change.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
It's like whenever you're turning on the news, it's nothing but like negativity. Oh, this person's dead. A body found here. Body found there. Like destruction. Oh, there's a fire. There's don't come for us. Mass shooting. You know, like, but it's just very focused on the negative.
Right.
It feels like. So it's like, oh, well,
those things
if
are
we
happening.
change something, I can change something, you know?
Right.
And so we watch these movies that like are inspiring, and there's like a hero and whatnot.
Right.
That's also stems from a lack of trust in government. Yeah.
That's a touchy subject.
That one, it is, but it's there.
Oh yeah. And
It's there.
Yeah.
I saw this thing. It was a meme, and it was like U.S. government's looking like Gotham City.
Oh my
god! And
God.
I had a bunch of the people, and I was like, oh,
Oof.
it kind of is. It is like this real rich guy and his wife, and they were like decked out, and then it was like this lady with like pink hair and like those funky glasses, and then a guy wearing a suit who was kind of like derpy, but also like had like polka dots on his shirt and like a weird tie. I was like, that does kind of look like Gotham City. Like,
you were like,
there is a lack of trust in the government.
Well, even so, like, I'm pretty sure that they have, like you were saying before, with the Cuban Missile Crisis or whatever, like, I think they have money set aside for this sort of thing, like Doomsday stuff, like the government. And sometimes it's like, what do they know that we don't know?
Well, but it's also like they're gonna have a warning. They're gonna have a heads up.
Oh yeah, we're not.
The higher ups like are gonna go.
Yeah, they're gonna go hide.
They're gonna hide, and then this stuff is gonna happen, and everybody's gonna be at a loss.
And then you know if that's who starts the world over again, the higher ups, that world's gonna be a disaster.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, my opinion, whatever.
I mean, we should have Marshall on a government podcast.
We'll hear Marshall's opinion. He's next.
He said, I don't want to.
Understandable.
Just because he'll get worked up. But also, it's because people believe we are past the point of redemption, so the end of the world has to be near. This is again mainly a religious belief. Like we're past the point of redemption. Sorry. So it's like,
yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, I think every generation that has lived, I feel like feels this way, because I'm like, okay, guys, I know that you think that we're past redemption, but like, think of ancient Rome. Like, they were doing crazy crap that was like,
but
horrible.
Ancient Rome also came to an end.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that is true. It fell. That's a good point. But like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think everyone, like, we've had horrible, you know, what am I trying to say? Governments and histories in the past that I feel like everyone has felt this way at some point. Like, we're past redemption. Like, surely.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense.
Not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I feel like everyone has felt that way.
You're good. Now, some like disbelievers blame it all on marketing.
Marketing?
And this is also kind of influenced in Fallout as well. It's all, they claim like it's all a money scheme.
Oh, okay.
Like the end of the world is in Fallout. They're like, the end of the world is very marketable.
Huh.
Because you're instilling this fear in people. What did I say? Did I say fear?
Yeah, you said fear.
For a second, I thought I said you're instilling this fool in people.
This fool in people. I was like, you said fear, I think.
But it's like you're instilling fear in people, and then you're also instilling like trust us because we're telling you about this before it's happening. Yeah. Be prepared for it. Like, here's this. Like, buy this. This is the best of the best. You don't want it in this like flaky, you know, shelter, or you don't want this, you know, that's going to go bad in 2 weeks. You need this. Yeah. So it's very marketable. So some disbelievers are like, they're picking easy targets. They're trying to influence them, their clientele, and then they get money. They get rich off of it. So,
well, I mean, think about.
I'm not saying they're wrong, but
like, yeah, like people go crazy and they buy all this stuff.
Yeah. Toilet paper. Yep. I remember seeing a video of a truck driver being like, "We're coming, America, we're coming." They're just like trying to.
There were people like fighting over it.
Yeah,
in the store.
Yeah, and what I never understood about like, oh, it's gonna storm or it's gonna
milk.
Like, why are you getting milk and bread? Those are the two things that go the quickest.
Yeah. Don't get refrigerated stuff if you think
they're
the
most perishable items you could possibly buy. So why do you have to go get milk and bread?
Right.
Because milk, if you leave that puppy out,
gone.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done for.
Yeah, you don't want to drink that. Yeah. I read that lots of Doomsday preppers buy chickens, like actual chickens, because they lay eggs.
They lay eggs and they will always have a source of food.
Yeah, that's smart.
Listen.
And chickens are easy, you know?
Well.
For the most part.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I guess.
They're easy to just feed.
I house sat for a professor one time.
It's not fun.
And they had chickens, and we could not. She was like, they're getting out. Here's the number to call if they get out. It's our neighbor's number. He knows how to deal with them. And I took the dogs on a walk, and I came back, and sure enough, a chicken was right there. And I was like, oh my gosh. But could not figure out how they were getting out. And then they're like,
okay,
like
well, if you
a 2-year-old kid was like, chasing a chicken.
Well, if you have to get them in there, okay, because we lived out like on a farm area, and they just went out during the day, and then they would come in and roost at night. So you just went in there and like closed it. So it's like it probably depends what situation you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because like if you do have like land and they just roam and then they come back for the night.
Yeah.
Like
but this was like a residential.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We have chickens too, and it was like, ooh,
don't do that.
But yeah.
Okay. That's funny.
Another reason is people lack control and they want to regain it. Oh. And an example I should say that I found of this was the Doomsday cults.
Ooh, what's that? Tell me about that. That sounds like fun.
So the Doomsday cults, people, I'm not going to go into very, very into it.
That's okay.
Because there was some contradictory information.
Right.
So I don't want to say something that's not true. But basically the people in the Doomsday cults believe that they have to separate themselves from society because society is so corrupt and so damaged that they can't be a part of society.
Like The Village. Have you seen that movie?
Like The Village.
Like they go make their own like little society.
Yeah, like The Village.
And then they base off fear, like don't go out there because there's.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So they're basically like, we separate from society. Now, unfortunately for you and me, Hannah, it is largely Christian followers this cult.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah. Easy to... I mean...
Well, if they already have the belief that the end of the world is coming.
They already believe in the rapture.
Yeah.
They already believe that, like...
The government's corrupt.
Well, not even
Most
Christians.
of them.
Like, well, yeah, but also, like, they already believe that, as, Christians, as a follower of Christ, it's my job to spread the word of Christ, you know? So they already have that going against them in this sense of being targeted for joining a cult.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you have people you can market it in a way where it's like, hey, come join us, come help us prepare for the end of the world,
Right.
And then you get like cult
Sucked
leaders who like they want the control, so it's like, I can control this, I can control what happens with
that like group,
like
their society, that
this group, where we're gonna go, what we're gonna so yeah,
that's wild. I just thought of that like when you said that, I was like, the village, like they get away from society because it's so corrupt, and then they make their own little thing.
But weren't the people also corrupt?
Yeah, because they were trying to hide stuff, and they like kept him inside of fear because they created those like creatures or whatever, so that they wouldn't go out. But then there ended up being like murders and I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. Yeah, like the leaders had done something.
I think the leaders were like getting ready to go to jail for something, right? I
think so. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, I remember they went away.
Well, I'm not saying a cult leader is not corrupt either. A cult leader is going to be...
Right.
There are going to be issues.
So, like, if you were in the apocalypse, like, if it were happening, what would be, like, the first thing that you, like, would want, like, item-wise? Like, what would be the first thing that you think I need?
Okay, this might be controversial because, my husband's the love of my life, but he can take care of himself, right? Okay? It depends on if we're together when it happens or not.
Right.
So if we're together, whatever, he's going to take care of himself. I'm grabbing my dog.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing my dog. And I'm also grabbing the guns.
Well, exactly. That's what I was like, some people say like guns and ammo. Because people go crazy. Like if they know you have food too, you would get like, you would get it. Probably people coming to you and going crazy, like wanting food if they knew you had extra. For me, I would take something that could purify water, or like water,
like a Brita.
Yeah, or something. Or you have like, there's like tablets, or like there's those life straws, like things that you can like also get like.
But do you have one of those readily available?
Exactly. I don't have those right now.
I don't have it right now either.
If you were to have,
but you couldn't. Right. You couldn't order it on Amazon.
Yeah.
The end of the world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You had to be prepared before, and that's why I'm like, hey, some of this stuff, it's actually like, it's smart to like stock up on things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when it becomes like a,
and I feel like
an obsession, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people who like go camping frequently have that type of stuff.
Exactly. Campers are going to be set.
Yeah, they're fine. They're good. The first thing I would grab would be Darcy.
Right. But like besides like an animal or something,
I would grab her. I'd put her harness on and her leash on. And then I'd grab a gun, but not the shotgun, because the shotgun we have, I watched Marshall's dad shoot that thing, and I was like, ain't no way I can handle that.
Right.
Unless adrenaline is like pulsing through my body, I'm not going to be able to handle that.
Right. So I asked Wes that question, and he said he would get duct tape. Which is actually on the list of like prepping stuff. Like, you should have duct tape. But I was like, okay, but what about water? Like, you're dead in 3 days without water.
Well, Marshall would grab water, probably. Yeah. Well, he'd grab a gun. First and foremost, and then and then water.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to survive long without a weapon, but you're not going to survive at all without water.
Yeah,
you're not
anything can be turned into a weapon.
Exactly. You could make a bow. I feel like if you were to make a weapon, like if you had to make one, I think a bow.
I would take a rock.
You would just take a rock, like a slingshot, like a hobbit.
No, I'm going like rock. Tie it onto a stick and make it like
a little mace sort of thing. Like that's funny. Yeah. I was like, I bet bow. Like, well, I mean, that would be good for hunting.
But I had a gun,
Yeah.
I have guns available. I also have a machete on next to my bed.
Okay, Polito.
I have a machete next to my bed. It's actually Marshall's machete, but it's on my side of the bed. So I would grab those two things.
Another thing I was asking Wes is like, where would you go if the apocalypse happened? Like, where would you... Okay, so first of all, where do we think it would start? in America. So where would the apocalypse start? And then second, where would you go?
It would probably start in like, I feel like if it depends on the type of apocalypse it is.
Right.
If it's like an attack type of an apocalypse, it would probably start in like New York because that's where all the money is.
That's what I said. I was like New York, and West said California.
Well, California is very populated. That was it was like New York.
It's always going to be the
3 states that come to mind immediately are New York, California, DC.
Right. That's what I was thinking. It's like the big cities because that's where it's going to be like because if it's like a disease of some sort, it's going to spread the fastest in the cities. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then I was like, where would you go?
Again, that also I feel like depends on
where it started,
what kind of apocalypse it is. So, say it's an attack. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go to the country.
Right.
Which, I mean, where I grew up isn't like country, but
right.
it's
enough.
I feel like enough away.
Right.
Although I don't know, population keeps growing.
That's what I'm like. Well, Wes was like, I would go on. He said, I know I keep saying Wes, but I was having these hypothetical discussions with him. He was like, I would go on a boat, like a well-stocked boat.
I was gonna say, or if like
yeah,
there was a boat.
Yeah, but I was like, what would you do if like you had a storm and like your boat sank? What about an island because it's surrounded by water, but then it's like condensed, so
Yeah, but where are you gonna get to an island that quick?
Well, you'd have to get a boat.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to get to an island that quickly.
Like at that point, everything's fair game. Right?
See, but that's the thing. It's
thing?
like you can't you have to stick to your morals in the apocalypse, like
oh, you have to. Okay. So
I mean, you don't have to, but like
well, then would you shoot someone? Like in self-defense.
In self-defense,
yes,
yeah.
But like you wouldn't just be.
But I would shoot someone in self-defense, not in
right.
In the apocalypse. Someone's breaking into my home, I'm going to shoot their leg. I'm going to shoot their kneecap. Yeah. I'm going to be like, if they're coming at me,
right.
Obviously, I'm not going to just shoot someone if they walk in my house unannounced. Right. But, like, if they're trying to rob me or kill me or do something, I'm going to, not in an apocalypse scenario,
right.
But
I don't know. Because morally, I obviously am against, like, stealing and stuff. But what are you doing during an apocalypse when, like, everything's abandoned? Like, is that fair game?
Well, again, you have to think, are we thinking, like, beginning of the apocalypse?
Right.
Or are we thinking a couple years down the road apocalypse?
But a couple of years down the road, then it's too late.
A couple years down the road apocalypse?
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter.
If you find a boat...
You take it.
You take it.
Right.
Beginning apocalypse? Who's to say that someone's not coming for their boat?
Right. But what if it's abandoned? Like, what if it's like a harbor? Like, abandoned at the beginning. Like, no one took their boats for some reason.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If it's abandoned, like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it can't be abandoned at the beginning.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, someone could be coming, trying to make their way to get their boat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard question.
It is.
Moral stuff.
You got to stick to your morals.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like... everybody's just crazy.
People are going to be
everyone's
crazy.
going to be crazy.
Yeah, everyone's going to be crazy.
But like, then there's like no hope for rebuilding society type of a thing afterwards.
That's why
everybody's morals are just out the window.
Yeah. Do you think you would survive? Because I don't think I would.
No.
Because because of the moral thing, I think I would be too nice and I wouldn't survive. Like, I would be like, we need to help them. And then it ends up being like, they kill us.
I don't think because of the moral thing I wouldn't survive. I think that I just wouldn't make it.
I don't think I would start running.
Make it.
I would fall the moment. Yeah, that's what I was like. First of all, I don't think I would survive because, first of all, I'm OCD and I'd be freaking out about everything and I'd probably just die
be like,
eventually.
John Wick up in there. Someone kills my dog. I'm just going to be
right.
I'm done.
That's what I was like.
I'm done.
Your animals, your precious animals. Like, what do you do?
No, but your animals you can like hunt.
That's true. Like hunt with them.
You can't hunt your animals.
Yeah.
Don't hunt your animals.
Clarification. Don't hunt your animals. Yeah, that's true. Keanu wouldn't do anything.
You're looking at me and you're telling me that German Shepherd ain't gonna do nothing in the instance of like he can sense you're scared. He can sense Wes is scared. You're gonna tell me he ain't gonna do nothing?
He's a pretty clueless German Shepherd.
He's starving.
Well, maybe, yeah. I guess so. Maybe.
He'd go find himself a squirrel or a bunny rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah. He already tries to chase those squirrels.
Yeah.
He'd probably eat it if he could.
See?
Maybe.
So, yeah. I feel like I would make it better with Marshall.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
But if something happens to Marshall,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was reading about that too. It's like you want to be, because I was wondering, I was like, would you rather be part of like a big group or like a little, small little band? I would 100% have to be with Wes to start with. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, it's just like burped. And then second, like I was like, would you want to be with a big group? But it's actually like you want to be with more people because you have a better chance of surviving. But I'm like, wouldn't trust too many people. It would have to be like a small band. Like if it was like me, you, Wes, and Marshall.
like a society.
Yeah.
Like in The Walking Dead, how they like
Right.
turn that neighborhood into like
Right.
its own little like neighborhood, you know?
Community. Sort
Yeah.
of.
Like I get
the appeal.
I do get it.
Yeah.
I get that.
Safety in numbers.
There are safety in numbers.
However,
you're going to be a bigger target too.
yeah. And also you have to, like, you're probably getting like a lot more stuff rationed, like even less, I would think. Unless they have, well, because there's going to be some, in a big group of people, there's going to be some form of government because they're going to set someone up to be the leader. Okay. So then you're going to have to listen.
You would have to.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to also abide by rules. Otherwise,
Right.
it would be chaos just like the rest of the
However,
world.
if it was just like 4 people or like 5 people, like you're like a pack. You know what I mean? Like you're like
there still
together.
needs to be like,
Well, there would 100% have to be trust.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess there would still. There's always gonna be someone that's gonna take over.
It doesn't work without a leader.
Yeah, yeah,
It can't just be.
right.
I mean, I guess technically, theoretically, it could be like a, you all vote on decisions.
That's true. Like a democracy, a mini
Yeah.
democracy.
Well, you hear about like, well, not hear about, but in The Last of Us, whenever he found his brother, it was like communism.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
everybody owns everything,
That's right.
but it worked.
Right. They were like on that safe ranch or whatever.
Yeah.
I love Pedro Pascal. Sorry, side note. We totally got. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I totally
good.
distracted you.
It was a good question. Yeah, no, I wouldn't make it. First thing I would grab would be Darcy.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing I would grab would be gun and machete.
Yeah. My dogs, my husband, like all that stuff.
Now, if I'm not with Marshall at the beginning, I'm running as fast
I'm
as
dead.
I can. I'm running as fast as I can trying to get to Marshall.
Oh yeah. There's no way I would survive without Wes. Not one bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it.
Me and you stuck together.
Okay, now that's an interesting thing though.
You would take over.
I would.
100%.
I would. If I felt like someone was if we had like kids or if I had somebody that like
Hannah
needed
AKA kid.
if you needed me to take care of you.
I think I would step up to the occasion if it was like an end of the world situation, but like I would be freaked out. But I would be
freaked
very
out,
like,
but it'd be like
we're gonna like protect each other.
yeah. Because that's how my fight or flight is too.
Yeah.
My fight or flight is freeze,
Mine is too.
which is dangerous. But if there's somebody else there who I feel like I need to protect,
See? Then you would be better.
then it's fight.
Yeah.
I
You need a
fight,
person.
you flight.
Yeah.
I fight, you flight, okay?
No, but if there were like people attacking us, I would be fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Like I really would. I know
Oh,
that.
I'm not saying I'm going to just give up and let people kill me.
Right.
But like I'm going down fighting, but I know my strength.
Right. Right.
And
Protector.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless obviously adrenaline's going to be going through my body.
Oh yeah. I don't think any of us know what we would be capable of in survival mode.
You don't. That's
don't.
the scary thing.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah. But I don't want to be as bold to be like, I think I could survive for like
I would survive for a little while.
a couple weeks.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, I'm just gonna, protect my loved ones, and then,
Yeah.
do
But
what I
again, it
can.
also depends on like the type of. Now, if it's zombies, I'm
That's
not
what I'm saying.
making it.
Which apocalypse would you want if you had to choose any of them? Like disease, zombie, or like nuclear war, or what was the other one? Power grid. I think power grid is the best.
I think I would rather
like be without
power grid.
Yeah, I think that is the best.
It would be scary at first. You'd be like, "What's happening? I don't know what's happening." But
Right.
then, like,
But you could survive. Humans did it for years.
absolutely,
You know?
you could survive.
Like it would suck, and we would have to learn a lot really fast because we're not used to surviving
And
without
we wouldn't
it.
have the internet
We
anymore.
wouldn't have the internet, so what would we know? Shit.
I would be going to the library.
Right. Oh yeah, and like I have books, so I feel like I would have some books that were like,
We could band together in the
Yes.
apocalypse.
oh, 100%. We'll like we'll have a meeting place if it happens.
Well, we have a manhole in our backyard,
Well, there you go.
and unless it's raining,
You're gonna crawl down that thing.
we can crawl down there.
You're gonna find out.
strategize.
But that's the zombies, would they go down there if there were zombies? You wouldn't want to go underground, right? Because that's where the zombies are. Are they? I don't know. Don't zombies go underground?
No.
Oh.
No, they're like usually flushed underground.
Oh. I'm thinking of like, we've been watching Supernatural and all the shapeshifters like go down in the sewers.
Yeah, but not the zombie. No, like because our manhole is like a drainage
Right.
sewer. So like when it rains, it's
like bad.
It's bad down there.
Yeah.
But initially it would be like okay, what are we doing?
Right. Like let's group and plan.
Yeah.
It's such a scary thought.
It is.
But I think that that's what I was thinking. I was like, out of any of them, well, first of all, I couldn't do the disease. Well, first of all, COVID kind of gave us a first taste of that. But like, if it was a horrible disease that just like, well, I mean, COVID's a horrible disease. Don't get me wrong. But like, I mean, like out immediately if you got it, that kind of disease, and you didn't know who had it, I would be dead in a week because I would be so freaked out.
Yeah.
I would rather almost have zombies than the disease. I'm not going to lie.
See, if it was zombies, I'd be screwed. I don't have the like endurance to run away from the zombie horde.
True. I don't have endurance either, but I don't know. The disease, I don't know. I would definitely choose like the electrical. And nuclear war is scary too. You don't want that.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing though. Can zombies swim?
No, that's why Wes said he would choose a boat. Apparently they can't swim.
If it was zombies, I'd go boat. 100%.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We just have to have a boat.
Good old Lake Cumberland.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they can. So it'd be the best thing if it was zombies to go out on a boat.
Well, but here's the thing too. If you know enough in advance, if you see the zombie like state, like you know without a shadow of a doubt, it is the apocalypse, and it's all
right.
It's all going to, as you know, my granny said, hell in a handbasket.
Right.
You know, like if it's that, your money will be worthless.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go buy a boat.
That's true. If you have time to buy a boat.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it's at the very beginning and it's not spread yet, go buy a boat.
That's why we don't live in New York or California, because we have a little bit of time.
No, exactly. We lived more in the center. So if it starts on the outer.
Right. But then who's to say it's not? Well, yeah, it'll probably start on a coast for sure.
Mm-hmm. It would have to.
Right.
If it starts in the middle of America, we're still safe because we're kind of like, we're closer to the outside, but not quite the inside.
Right. A boat. A boat is our best bet.
A boat. Go to the lake.
Yeah.
You're good. You're set.
As long as you have food and supplies.
Well, fish.
Right.
Turtles.
Oh, a turtle. I know. You would have to.
You got to eat a turtle if you got to eat a turtle.
But you would also need, like, stuff for water and all that.
Yeah.
Which if you have a purifying thing.
Yeah.
Can you drink lake water if you purify? Yeah. If you purify it. Because you couldn't do the ocean no matter what. You can't purify that, can you?
Yeah.
What?
It's salt water.
Yeah, you can't drink salt water.
You can boil it.
Well, yeah. But then would you also... Well, but can you drink it still?
Yeah, you just have to boil it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I thought it had such a high content of salt, but maybe I'm
not.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure you can just boil it.
Don't take us up on that. Don't go. Don't go boiling any salt.
We are
water.
not professionals.
I don't know.
At this point, we've lost everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're all like, "What are they talking about?"
I mean, you guys tell us what you would do in an apocalypse.
Yeah, tell us if you have any better ideas because
tell us your plans.
Give
us ideas.
We need to know. Anyway, where were we?
Pop culture.
Pop culture. Let's talk about pop culture.
We were getting to our pop culture part. Okay, so all right, Hannah. I know I mentioned earlier, going back to it, as film majors. Film provides an escape from reality.
Right.
Lots of people believe that, the reason the apocalypse is so big in our pop culture is it's providing an escape from the turmoil of the real world,
Interesting. So we want something even worse to watch.
Right. Well, and like what I don't understand, and a lot of other people, because obviously in researching this, sometimes you have to just go to like good old Reddit,
Right. Good old Reddit.
Some people were like, but is it really like helping?
Right. Is it
helping us escape, or is it like creating more fear? Which I feel like it's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both.
I feel like a lot of people, it's also, I feel like kind of desensitizing a little bit, because
that's true.
People are like, oh, nothing like this will ever happen.
Right. I guess it really depends on your outlook.
It does.
On life, and like thinking, is this a possibility? Is this not a possibility? Or is it desensitizing us, or is it making us more fearful? I guess you just have to kind of base for yourself.
Yeah, you do. You really do. So an author, Christopher M. Hood. He's also a teacher at a school in New York. He says, quote, "My students are growing up in a world on fire," referencing the Hunger Games.
Oh.
Because again, like you said,
Yeah.
it came out like books and movies and TV shows like came out and they're all post-apocalyptic and stuff like that. Not to mention, he goes into like, yes, like fictionally they're growing up in like,
oh yeah, dystopian.
yeah,
That sort of, yeah.
yes. But then also you look at the real world and it's like, oh, there's so much lack of trust, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He gives a good quote. But he says, quote, "My generation grew up with a kind of optimism, a sense of things getting better. And my students are reckoning with climate devastation, the rise of fascism, and the sense that our financial system doesn't work for regular folks anymore." End quote.
Interesting.
I know.
That's good.
Right? Because
That's
it's like,
interesting.
you look at the real world, and then you go and you escape, and then it's all dystopia.
Right.
But that could also, I mean, I'll comment at the end because I have something for that.
Stored in your brain.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. Bill Indick, he's an associate professor of psychology at William Patterson University. He said, quote, "End of the world stories are this generation's coping mechanism," end quote. No matter what, someone survives.
Right.
There's always going to be a hero.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they're going to defy all the odds and they're going to survive, or they're going to save these people, or they're going to turn the power back on, or, you know, whatever it is.
Because you can like root for that person. That's why it's like such a big thing.
And it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Like it inspires people to be like, oh yeah,
if that happened, I would be like them.
Exactly. Like they live through them. They live through them. And it's just, you turn on the news or you hear about this and then it's like, oh, let me go watch this. And it's like, you're doing better. You're doing better. You're defying all the odds. You have morals. You have this. You have that. You know, like whatever. And it's, I mean, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Why it would be so popular then.
It does.
And he also says, quote, "In real life, watching the world falling apart around us, there's very little we can do as individuals, but by watching movies, we become active. We act through the heroes."
Oh, yeah. Just like we were saying.
End quote. Yeah.
You live through them because, like, someday if this happens, like, to us, like, what?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully we can be the hero or whatever, you know, that's, like, what we all want.
Well, and if we all want to be the hero, then maybe it really won't be that bad.
Yeah.
If we're all trying to be the heroes.
Maybe we'll all band together.
Mm-hmm. But then there was, I can't remember where it was, but it may have been Fallout. No. I think it was just a video I was watching on my phone, but of like a clip from a series. And it was like, even the bad guys are heroes in their own eyes.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
So
it's true.
like,
they're acting out of what they think
is best.
Is their right.
Yeah.
Righteousness or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why those are the creepiest and most convincing type of villains to me, is like when they start breaking down their plan and you're like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. And then you're like, oh my gosh, am I bad? But like in their minds, they're the heroes.
In their head, they're a hero.
Yeah.
Whereas in your head, you're a hero.
Right.
It's just
right.
it all.
Who's the one that's trampling the innocent
right
people, you know? Mm-hmm. Who's the one who's actually like fighting for righteousness and justice or whatever? But
yeah.
But in their eyes, that's what they're doing. It's just for their people or for them or whatever, exactly. You know?
Yeah. I know.
I'm not prepared for this.
I know.
I'm not prepared for the apocalypse.
That's okay. It's not coming. Don't worry.
It's fine. Oh, it's not coming? Well, good.
Another scholar, I was reading an article about him, but they never said like their whole name, so I don't want to like misquote the person.
Right.
So just say another scholar said, "We don't need to pay attention to the good or peaceful things. They don't hurt us. But if we don't pay attention to danger, we don't survive." This is basically saying that like this generation is like, she went on, it was a very long quote, but I like that portion of it.
Right.
But she goes on to basically say this generation is hardwired to look for danger in every situation. Right. So they're hardwired to look at the danger in the video games they're playing or the books and like scream at the character, no, don't do that. Right. You know, like as they're watching the movie, right. You know, how many times are you watching a horror movie and you're like, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in
literally
there.
all the time.
Or turn around,
The Last
turn
of
around.
Us too. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, do not, nope, stop. They're right there.
Yeah.
Do not.
So, I mean, I mean,
they are like, we are pretty much wired to look for the negative because we see it
because you see the negative so frequently.
In schools, in the church, and the government, and like, I mean, think about how many just
At
so
work.
Yeah,
You
at
know,
work, like all the negativity
mm-hmm.
and things that we go through. It's, I mean, you see so much bad in the world. That's just like what you are expecting.
Yeah. Well, you see it in the movies. You see it
Yeah.
in all of your
Yeah.
forms of media. So you have, like, you're literally hardwired to look out for it.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too, the generational thing. It was like this isn't the generation that came to America and was promised the American dream, you know, like,
oh, yeah.
we're living the quote American dream, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not so great. It's
Yeah.
not so wonderful. Like,
People are very, what is that word? Like, oh my gosh, I can't think of it. It's like when they become, I guess, cynical.
yeah.
Is what I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for. People are very cynical because of that. It's just not, nothing's ever cut out the way that it's, what am I saying? It's not what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's not what everyone promised.
No, it's not. But going back to the danger, looking for the danger, it could be, I think, when I was reading all of this, I kept thinking, like, this could go back to, like, the control aspect of it. We don't feel like we have the control.
No.
So we're going to go play that video game. That's going to give us
Yeah.
every chance we can to get it right. We can control what we do in the video game. We don't have as much control in, like, the movies that we're
Right.
reading, but it's like, they're going to end well, which is why people get
Right.
so upset whenever they end more
You have that hope,
realistically.
yeah.
You know, like, you feel like you're getting that control back
Right.
in a world where we don't have.
Right. Well, and you're watching
control.
other people live it out. Like, it's
Right.
not you. So
It's not you. So it's like, okay.
like, you like to think that you would be that way or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Man, we go to some, when you start thinking about these things, like really start thinking about it.
You can see where someone can get
Yeah.
lost in it.
and like the possibilities of it and being like, well, you know, people are like, zombies. Okay. Like, yeah, zombies, whatever. That's like far fetched, but
Like,
then
zombies aren't going to happen, but
Yeah.
like aliens.
who's to know? And
Government's confirmed the alien is real.
the alien is real.
Aliens are real.
And then, like, I mean, a technological shutdown, that's not far fetched at all.
Oh, a cyber
Like,
attack?
Yeah.
I will say, I don't think nuclear war will happen.
I hope not.
I really don't, because you nuke somebody, they nuke you back.
That's what I'm saying. We're all going to be gone in like,
You're going to destroy
Easy.
it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not take that back.
that's what I'm like. It would have to be like very much like we've just gone crazy.
Yeah.
Because if that gets started, like everyone has it. So like everyone's going to die.
Literally.
The world is just going to
fall apart.
How much can it sustain too? Like the world in like nuclear
I don't
war
think the
and
world
like,
can sustain a nuclear war.
yeah, I don't know either. I don't, because think about like what that releases into the atmosphere and all this stuff.
Yeah, one, you've seen those like movies or TV shows. Didn't
Yeah.
Will and Jaden Smith like do a movie about how nuclear war had happened, and so they all like escaped up to space.
Oh yeah. And like we're not ready for that.
No, we're not ready.
We're not
for
ready
that.
to go to another planet.
Another thing that's scary too is like, could be kind of apocalyptic, I guess. They've been like tracking underwater things that like are moving faster than anything is supposed to be able to move.
No.
Down like under, like,
Do you know how creepy
we
the
know
ocean
more.
is? Ah!
We know more about space than we know
Right.
about our own
Isn't
ocean.
that crazy?
Yeah,
No, some creature come out of that ocean.
we're done.
I mean, where do I go? But like,
The aliens could be hiding in.
what if the aliens are actually in the ocean?
No, literally though, like they could be.
Atlantis. Man, I know.
I feel like aliens is more.
You think aliens is more probable than zombies?
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's out there.
I
The
think-
fungus thing with The Last of Us and like the mushrooms and things, like the fungal infection,
Now that kind of zombie, I could see maybe
a disease. Yeah.
But that, yeah, it's not
I think
really
it wouldn't-
zombie. It's not
Yeah,
just zombie.
I would. Yeah, it's not just a zombie. You're right. Like, but I could see like a disease like infecting humans to the point where they go crazy and don't know what they're doing, but aren't necessarily like a zombie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could see that
You know what I mean?
more
Yeah.
so.
I
That
just don't think-
pulse, though, I feel like the pulse is the most...
The pulse, like the
electromagnetic pulse is
Yeah,
the most probable.
I think so too.
I feel like.
They also had like I don't remember if you said this, like a natural disaster apocalypse I read about, like with like a volcano or like storms and tsunamis and like.
But that can't affect the whole world.
Yeah, but like I guess if it were to like, I guess with like enough change to the world's atmosphere, if it like became like all these
Hostile to
earthquakes
live
and like
in,
all these
yeah.
volcanoes and like, you know how things sometimes are becoming more and more.
I guess.
Well, even because if you have like the rapture viewpoint, it says like these things will increase, like the natural disasters and things like that.
It's true.
So
And we already
would
know
take a lot.
earthquakes are
yeah,
going up from our cave system
Yeah.
episode. So
I think it would definitely take a lot more for natural disasters to just, you know,
End it. Yeah.
They also mentioned asteroids. I read that too.
Huh.
Like they wiped out the dinosaurs, you know, like a comet, like or whatever hits.
Yeah.
But that would also have to be, well, I guess it depends how big the comet. How big can they get? I don't know. I'm not very.
That'd have to be pretty big.
It'd be yeah. That's what I'm
to
saying.
wipe out the world.
The world, yeah.
Yeah.
But like parts of it.
Parts of it,
could-
absolutely.
I mean, if it wiped out the dinosaurs, wipe out a city, maybe.
But then you're also putting so much trust in, like, what if someone did the math wrong? What if it's not actually going to hit right there? You know?
right.
Like
Oh yeah.
if it was wiping out a
Or the
whole,
effect
whole
went-
part
yeah.
of it, like, what if it's not going to hit right there?
Yeah.
What if it hits
Or
where,
what if we
where
didn't
we're
hear
all
in
trying to
time?
run to, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing. The mass hysteria of like an evacuation.
Yeah.
That it would kill a lot of people.
What would you do if, like, right now, the
Selena.
speakers at the park were like,
Hello,
everybody
everyone.
needs to evacuate?
Well, I would immediately run back home,
As
And
you
get
should.
Wes.
Yeah.
and it would depend if the like power was down, or like the like if I could use my cell phone or not. Like if the towers were down or like whatever, I would call him immediately. Obviously, where would we go? I don't know. Like we don't have
Manhole.
the manhole. All right, everyone, you heard it here. Our plan is to go down a manhole and just wait it out. Let's hope that we can survive down there.
Yeah, we're gonna
Where would we go?
We're gonna block off because it's like this sewer drain, right? And then there's like an opening
Right.
at the bottom. It's not very big, but then there's two tunnels, one going this way, one going that way. And so we would have to block those tunnels off.
Okay, we can do that.
But absolutely, grab
Yeah.
some rocks.
So if it happens now, we're screwed. But this is why people plan. Maybe they have something. Maybe they're onto something.
Maybe they are. I think. Okay.
It's always good to be prepared.
I think it's good to have like an idea of what you're
what
gonna
you would
do.
like a hypothetical idea of what.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking you these questions. Like, what would we do? Like, it's a good idea to think about things. I mean, you never even like. I mean,
Now, stocking up on food,
yeah,
you have to stay in place.
that's true. But it's
You can't
never.
carry all that.
You would have to have some that was like non-perishable for like a little bit of time to like carry with you.
I feel like we got canned goods, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
saying,
not going
like-
to be a gourmet meal,
Yeah.
but we got canned goods.
You can survive off that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little corn. Keep eating the corn, like we mentioned last week, or the week we did the coffee.
Whatever week that was.
It was the coffee week. You were talking about the corn, how it can just, come right back out.
Yeah.
Delicious. Okay, guys,
Because it's not digestible.
what apocalypse would you want to survive if you had to,
What apocalypse do you think is going to happen?
if there is going to happen? And where would you go?
What would you do? What's your plan?
Yeah. If you have any ideas, send it to us at
lattespodcast@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to us on Instagram. And now we are on Facebook.
yeah.
Our Instagram is Lattes on My Mind, all one word, all lowercase. And then our Facebook is just Lattes on My Mind.
Imagine.
Crazy.
All right, you guys make sure you don't get, infected by any zombies out there.
Don't get abducted by aliens.
Yeah. Unless they're offering you lattes.
If they're like, yo, the end of the world is coming, come with us.
We have the lattes.
Maybe go with them.
Maybe.